is Shelby. I wanted to share another kind of less than an hour prenatal yoga class. This is kind of more directed towards third trimester. I'm currently 37 weeks pregnant with my second baby. So I just wanted to share like a more hip opening and a bit of glute strengthening class. These are things I feel like I need to target in the third trimester. And yeah, maybe some thoughts towards labor as it's approaching pretty soon. For today, just check that you have your 2 blocks and a bolster or a really big cushion you can sit on to help elevate the hips. And again, like, remember to always listen to your body. You can pause this video anytime something doesn't feel right. And yeah, always check with your midwife or whoever's helping you along in this pregnancy, whether it's safe to practice yoga, as there's some symptoms and things that come up that you really need extra guidance or private yoga instruction. But I just thought I'd share my practice with you. So today we'll start in a seated position. So you can have your legs crossed maybe, okay, or you could sit in hero pose on the bolster, virasana. So you line it up like this on your mat, and just sit with your shins on the mat, feet flat. All right, take a couple moments as you're getting settled in to rock the pelvis forward and back. You can even do little circles clockwise and then counterclockwise. Also great to practice this on an exercise ball. It will be a useful tool in labor, having one of those big balls to sit on and do little circles, get some movement happening in the hips. And then find that position where you're feeling really grounded and you can rise up from your seat and seek length out of the crown of your head. So to let the shoulders relax, hands can rest on your thighs or even on your baby. I find this is like an extra little comfortable position now for me. And maybe here you can check into your baby's movements, if they're awake, or just feel into this space. With pregnancy and practicing yoga, I find it is so helpful and beneficial to be consistent with the practice, you know, a couple times a week or every morning if possible. And it helps you just check in and be super aware of this whole journey of everything that evolves and changes. Sometimes it's subtle, some days it's really a challenge being pregnant, but focusing on what you can do. So you'll find there's still lots of poses you're still able to do with help of blocks or other tools. Let's take 3 cleansing breaths. So you'll inhale through the nose, and you can deeply sigh the breath out. With inhale, growing tall, expanding, and exhale, surrendering. Inhaling peace, clarity. Exhaling tension, doubt. And then try to come to an equal breath. So you're breathing in through the nose. If you can, maintain the same count as you exhale. Do so. As long as your breath is relaxed and calm. The way you breathe also affects baby. You can pick up on these physiological kind of cues. If you're breathing really just in your chest, so it's very beneficial for baby to just send that breath down towards your belly, expand, and letting it go. We'll practice Brahmari breath, which is bumblebee breath, and it's a very useful breath for clearing chatter in your mind. I'll demonstrate the first one and then I'll guide us through 5 rounds. So it's a breath that you hum And it's a great one to get like connected to that vocalness. It's shown that our vocal cords are connected to our pelvic floor muscles, and when you can loosen them, it will help, you know, the baby come out. So it might be a breath you come to while you're in labor. If you're just really in your mind, you know, we don't need our mind to birth our baby. We need our intuition and our body, okay? And breath is very useful to help our mind focus on something, okay, besides any fears or doubts that come up. So see this as a way to sweep out any of that negativity or pressure you're putting on yourself. So you can fully clear or close the eyes. And I like to withdraw the senses fully. So I plug my thumbs into my ears, and then you can cover your eyes with your middle finger. And just place the other ones around your sinuses, so your cheeks, and then just one on your lower cheeks. Okay, so you'd be like that, and you take a deep breath in and you hum the breath out with your mouth closed. Okay, so next one, we can continue. We'll do 5 rounds, starting with a big breath in, and you'll om or hum the breath out. Just feel the buzzing effects of that breath. It's likely if you are in your 3rd trimester, your baby's hearing that, and it can be very soothing. So place our hands onto baby, taking a breath in that space, and set an intention for your practice. Maybe it is simply to just find clarity and strengthen your intuition. And start to come off of your bolster. Just set it to the side, and we'll come to legs cross position. So you can change the cross of your legs if you need to, adjust. All right, so coming in, and I'll mirror you as well. So we'll take a side bend towards the right. So place your right hand out, the fingers tap the mat, and reach your left hand up and over. So you can walk your hands further out. Keep anchoring through your left hip crease. Big breath in, opening the chest, and then inhale, rise up. We'll take a twist towards that right knee. So place your hand on top of the right knee, lift the chest, ground the sit bones, and then find a little bit of rotation, making sure you're keeping space in your belly for baby, not compressing. One more breath. Maybe turn your gaze over. Inhale back to the middle. Okay, place the hands on the knees, and then place your left hand out to the side, and then reaching your right arm up and over. Focus on anchoring through the right hip crease, and keeping that position as you're reaching away from it. Expand the ribs. We'll rise back up, take a twist towards your left. The other hand is behind you, just helping to elongate the spine. And then take a further breath. I want to make sure we're even, and then start to unwind. We'll come into all fours or tabletop position. Okay, so shoulders are over wrist creases. All right, if you're having any carpal tunnel symptoms or dramas, you could always place your hands on a bolster or on 2 blocks to help kind of lift that. Okay, or use fists. All right, so on cat-cow, We already have a lot of weight here in the belly, so you want to focus on just lengthening out of the crown of the head, shoulders draw back on your cow. Right, so not so much a drop in the lower back. And then exhale round the spine, lengthen your tailbone towards heels. And feel free to flow a bit more. You might rock forward and back as you do this. Inhale for cow. Totally welcome any kind of fluid or flowy motions that you need to add. Let's take 3 more rounds of cat-cow. So remember the inhales to expand and lengthen. Exhales to round, contracting, drawing baby in to spine. Just about 1 more round. And then we'll come into a round to kind of warm up these glutes a little bit. I want you to keep everything nice and stable, all right? So lift baby from below. So it's like you're drawing that baby in towards your back. And we'll do some donkey kicks. I'll guide us through the first 1 or 2. We'll do 5 more after that. So as you exhale, contract the TA muscles, these lower abdominal muscles. And then start to lift the right leg up behind you, all right? And then bring it in, and then out to the side. Try to keep it super steady, and the key is to go slow. It makes it harder. Let's do 5. Okay, up, and then out to the side. Keep everything still. Keep yourself accountable. This is 2, behind you, and then out to the side. Okay, moving into 3. Up. Keep drawing baby in. 4. Nice and slow, last 1. Okay, and then bring it in, shifting to the other side. Take 1 cat-cow, maybe take a side-to-side one. So you look over your right and left shoulders. Back into neutral. So keep that leg at 90 degrees. You lift it up behind you. Just calibrate if you're kind of arching the back. Bring the knee back down and then out to the side. And then in, and then for 1, back behind you. Draw the baby in. 2, now 2. Behind and then out to the side. Nice and steady. 3. And then out to the side. Everything's staying still. 4. And then out to the side. Keep breathing, and 5 behind you, and then to the side. All right, the knees can come down, come to child's pose, toes together, knees wide. All right, reaching the fingers forward, let your head rest on the mat. You can bend the elbows and let your head rest on your hands. Even tucking the toes can help create a bit more space for baby, especially in your 3rd trimester. Lift the hips a little bit more. Ground down, 2 more breaths. And we'll start to lift up for a toe stretch. All right, so the knees are wide and I've got my toes tucked under, so the soles of the feet are opening. All right, another good thing to be aware of while we're pregnant. Stretching through the soles of the feet. All right, and then we'll start to roll our wrist out after being on them for so long. So bring your palms together, interlace the fingers. Okay, we'll just do simple rolls. All right, like that. You might hear your wrist popping, and then back the other way about 3 or 4 times. That's a bit funky for me. And then, like your wrists are connected, flow the palms forward, and then keep the back of the wrist connected as you flow in and out. Okay, doing up to 3, and then we'll go 3 the other way. Nice. We'll do eagle arms after this, so crossing the left arm over the right. You can do a self-hug like that. Let the shoulders relax. Or bring the palms together, spiral the hands up towards the ceiling. Let the elbows sink down. Let chin tuck. Breathing between shoulder blades. Switching across with the arms, so bring the right or left over, whichever you didn't before. Then find that spiral, hands up. Start here. Okay. great stretch for breastfeeding or nursing, whatever you're doing. You'll be holding your baby a lot and letting the hands go. Whew. Untuck the toes, maybe kick them out. All right, or you can stretch back. Okay, stretching the top of the foot. So lifting one knee at a time. Come into downward facing dog. So lifting your hips up and back. Again, if you get like heartburn or any things like that, you can pop to your knees if you need to and still access a lot of the poses. Otherwise, keep your head elevated. Sometimes hands on blocks is something people find helpful as well. So it does take a bit of that angle out of your wrist if your wrists are bothering you. Letting the head relax if you can, otherwise keep it lifted. And we'll do some down dog hip opening circles that help lubricate, get juicy in the hips, and it creates a bit of heat. You can also do this in tabletop position. Okay, so I'll show you in down dog, but otherwise you would just be drawing circles with your knee like that, lifting hips up and back. Lift the right leg up in the air, bend the knee, roll the hip open, keep your chest nice and steady, and then draw the knee forward and back for 1. Nice and slow. 2, 3, and then back the other way. 1. Keep the chest pressing through. 2. You want to go nice and slow to warm it up, and then place that foot down and go to the other side. All right, left leg up, bend the knee, roll hip open, keep squaring your shoulders off. Forward 3 times, nice and slow. And then that 3 the other way. Okay, come back to down dog. All right, if you need to drop your knees, you can. Look forward, bring the right leg forward. All right, until the lizard lunge. So you can bring your hands to blocks. So the foot's outside the right hand. Lengthen your chest forward. And then you can come to your forearms if you have room, or those blocks can be helpful to rest your forearms on to take weight out of your wrists. Or the knee is tracking in line with the ankle, so watch if it's going too far forward. You can always walk the left leg back a bit further. And a reminder to stay within 70% of your range. So being aware of your previous range before you got pregnant, before all those hormones of relaxing kicked in. So we're just trying to maintain our flexibility, not really go deeper. All right, finish your exhale, you're on. And then lift up for half splits, or Ardha Hanumanasana. So usually we frame the front foot. You can always bring the hands on the inside of the leg to make more room for your growing belly. Take a moment to lengthen the spine, inhale, exhale, fold. Try to flex the toes back if you can, or spread the toes wide. And then you can lift your gaze, you can walk your foot more to the center. Come into Anjaneyasana, but we'll keep our hands by the front leg, or if you need to lift up, you can. All right. I will use a block under my left hand, so I can come into a twisted thigh stretch. If your knee is bugging you with all your extra weight, put a towel or blanket underneath your left knee. Look over the right shoulder, pick up your left foot, catch onto the pinky toe edge. All right, it's a little bit of a twist, so you can kind of lean into it. Draw the heel in, maybe let it go, just kind of play with flossing the thigh, the quad. Yeah, it's so helpful to have that left hand on the block so you're a bit higher, you've got space to reach that back foot. Otherwise, use a strap to loop around the thigh. Take one more breath. And then let your foot go. Bring your hands back. We'll take our knee back. We'll take a cat-cow. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale, round. Then we'll come into downward facing dog. If you can, then bring your left leg up and then step it forward for lizard. So foot outside, the left hand, lengthen your chest, the hips forward, walk the foot out a little bit if you need a bit more space to the side. into your forearms. Just make sure you're letting your belly soften so you're not like contracting too much here. So you might need to play around with your props. Maybe let the head relax. And then start to lift yourselves back up. Coming into half Hanuman. Extend the left leg. Again, your hands could be on the inside to make more room, or if you can still frame your foot a bit, you might have to stay a bit more elevated. Take a moment to inhale to lengthen. And then you might just bow the head. Flex the toes back of your left leg. Breathe into those hammies, the hamstrings. And we'll lift our gaze. You can walk your foot more to the center again of your line. Come into your low lunge to set up for twisted thigh stretch. So you look over your left shoulder. Right hand can stay on the block as you sweep the hand back. Left hand catches the foot. You draw the heel and let the hips sink forward. You play with pulling it in and out. Take one more breath. Let the foot go. We'll take a cat-cow. Right. Lengthen. Exhale around. And then we'll come to downward facing dog. Right. We'll do down dog with 3 heel rises. So inhale to lift the heels. Exhale, sink them down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Try to isolate the movement just in your legs. Keep your chest still. It's tricky. And then we'll start to walk the feet forward. Feel free to take wide steps. Sway the hips side to side like an elephant. That's how I feel sometimes. And then bring your hands to blocks maybe if you need that extra support. All right, to help lengthen and have a flat back. All right, as you lift up halfway. Hands could be on shins, you might even kind of float. Exhale, bow, just let the head tuck in. And then a slight bend in the knees. Inhale, lift the arms up. And bring your hands to prayer. We're gonna move through a couple rounds of Surya Namaskar A with a side bend, just because side bends are the best for helping open up our sides. And we'll have a variation of a connecting vinyasa. So if you practice yoga regularly, you're familiar with in vinyasa yoga or Ashtanga Chaturanga. So we're doing a plank push-up on our knees instead of the high to low plank up dog. All right, start to just find your feet, maybe separate the hips or feet hips width. Bring your hands up, Ardha Hastasana, inhale. Collect your left wrist, take it up and over to your right. Side bend. Inhale to the middle. Catch your right wrist, reach it up and over. Inhale back to the center, maybe look up. Draw baby in. Exhale, forward fold. Hands can go to blocks, halfway lift. And then stepping back to your, either you can do a cat-cow for your vinyasa, and then go back to down dog, or you set up for a plank on knees, so hips in line with knees, out to crown of the head. Shifting forward over the knees, exhale, lower down. Inhale, press back up. Tuck the toes, downward facing dog. So you've got a couple options. We'll do about 3 more sets. All right, take a big breath in, down dog. Exhale out. And inhale, rise to toes. Start to step forward again. Hands could be on blocks. Lead, halfway lift. Inhale, exhale, bow. Press into the feet, bending the knees. Inhale, lifting up. Catch your left wrist, side bend to the right. Inhale to the middle, and then catch the right wrist, take it to the left. Inhale, stretching tall. And hug baby from below. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. And then stepping your left leg back. So be sure to switch the legs that go back. Plank on knees or your cat-cow. Lowering as you exhale, inhale to lift. Downward facing dog. Down dog, take a breath in. And complete exhale. lifting up the toes, lift the head, start to step forwards. Halfway lift. Exhale, bow. Press into the feet. Inhale, rise. Catching your left wrist, take it over to the right. Press the feet to come back up. Take the right wrist up and over, so lengthen and then side bend. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. Stepping your right foot back and then the left knee. So it's either cat-cow or plank push-up. Squeezing legs together if you're in plank. Elbows close to sideways to your ribs. In down dog, take a full breath in and a full breath out. Rising to toes, we'll do one more of these. Step forward. Getting that flow happening, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press into the feet, inhale, rise up. Take your side bend to the right, so catching left wrist or arm over. Inhale to center, and then up and over to the left. Going tall. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway lift. And then stepping your right leg back or left leg back. Try to just alternate so it steps back. Shifting forward for plank and exhale to lower. Press up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Full breath in. And full exhale. And rising up to toes, stepping forward. Coming to the top of your mat. Halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then start to bend the knees, come up, take a block with you. Alright, or something about thick as a block. There I go, pulling up the pants constantly. Prenatal yoga, right? So we'll come into a chair pose for about a minute. And we could use our Brahmari breath. You could almost time like how many sets is a minute. It's probably around 5 to 6 breaths. I'll mind the time for a minute. And it can be a tool you use in labor, just that type of breath, or maybe you're repeating a mantra or affirmation. So start to get yourself situated. So squeezing the block. Start to sink the hips down. All right. Hands could be here or prayer. All right. So we've got less than a minute to go. All right. You might start your Brahmari breath as you inhale, humming out. Keep that down from the hips. Stay with it. You're strong, mama. We're so strong. Keep on breathing in and out, connecting to your intention if you had it. Keep using that bumblebee breath, that buzzing sound. Clearing out any impurities or thoughts that aren't helping. Remember, as a man or woman, thinketh in their heart, so is he, as James Allen said, or to paraphrase. We've got this. Another 3 seconds. 2, 1. Press into the feet, stand up. Shake the feet out or shake the hips. Whew. Awesome. Okay, so we'll set up for some standing poses. All right, help strengthen our legs. Oh, baby, like that one. Take your hands to your hips. And then we're gonna ground through our right foot and just slide your left foot back for a warrior one. Okay, so our hips stay forward. You can keep the hands on your hips. Maybe come off the tightrope a little bit, so widen your feet east and west. Okay, front knee is over the ankle. All right, so you might not be lunging as far as you used to if you practice regularly. As long as your pelvic floor isn't compromised. All right, active through the back knife edge of your left foot. Okay, that back quad is engaged a bit to help you. We'll bring our arms up. Let the shoulders relax. If it's better to have your hands here, feel free to have hands in prayer. Take 3 more breaths in warrior 1, 2, 1. Opening the arms out wide, interlace the hands. All right, like so. And then lift the chest, and lift the hands more in line with the chest. Breathe here for 3. Keep hugging baby from below. Watch if you're kind of rounding that lower back too much. And then reposition hands on hips. Exhale to step the foot forward a little bit. Pyramid, Ardha. So hands can stay on hips. Have your blocks ready. Feel you'd be using those for your bolster. Lengthen forward. Keep guiding that right hip to stay back. Pausing halfway, and then setting yourself into more of a fold. Again, a wider stance, like half Hanuman. Think of that pose, can be useful. Grounding the feet all the way up. So it's like you're pressing the feet into the mat to get that feedback, to activate the legs. One further breath. Bring your hands to your hips. Press into the feet, lift back up. All right, we'll step forward as we exhale, bend the knees. All right, shake it out a bit. And we'll set up for the second time. So at the top of your mat, second side, our right leg. Exhale to draw it back. So exhaling to help lift pelvic floor, engage it. All right, square the hips forward. Find the knife edge of your right foot. Your front foot is active as well. So it's like you're gripping the mat with your toes a bit, but not overly, just that, find that feedback. So it's like you're giving to earth and giving back. Arms up, overhead. 3 breaths in Virabhadrasana 1, this variation. For 2, and 3. Circle arms wide, interlace the fingers, maybe change the overlap of the fingers, lift the chest. Stay in that depth. 3 breaths. And there's 2. Keep the chest rising, like your heart's pressing up forward. And then finishing that third one, hands to hips. Exhale just to step in a little bit. Your right toes could face a bit more forward. And lengthen the spine. Forward, pause halfway. Gauge what you need, and then placing the hands down, come more into a fold. Good. To position your belly next to your left leg, so avoiding compression. Last breath here. Feel free to have the bend in the knees and anywhere you got straight, and then start to lift back up, and we'll step forward. Bending through the legs. All right. So here we'll step wide with control, so be careful and mindful of your pelvic floor. Start at the top of your mat. Exhale to just drag the foot back. It's better to have that feedback rather than slamming your foot back. So for Warrior 2, you want to line the front heel with the back inside arch. All right, so imagine the line going through. All right, settling in. Hands could be on hips to start. All right, finding the feet, so the knife edge of that foot, where it's pressing, my back leg is engaging, externally opening the right thigh, hips are open, hands out to the side, 3 breaths here. Let the shoulders relax, reach to the fingers. All right, flipping the palm, finishing that last breath, exhale, reverse. So your hand can come down, or you might like to traction the wrist like we did in our sun salutation. So catch the right wrist, reaching it up and over. Your head can lean into your left arm. Take 2 breaths. Inhale to come back up to Warrior 2. Reaching the right arm forward. The elbow can rest on the right knee. Left hand onto your hip, or reach the arm up. Eventually bring the fingertips to the front of your room. Spiral the chest open, so right ribs coming through. Sometimes with my bottom hand, I can hold on to baby too. So the elbow's there, and then my other hand's holding, cradling baby. Take a further breath here, and then press into the right leg, back into Warrior 2. Find that strength for a moment. And then we'll straighten the right leg, pivot the toes in for wide-legged forward fold. I'm going to turn around to face you so my butt's not talking to you. So toes forward or slightly in. You can shorten the stance a little bit too to give yourself a bit more space. All right, bolster can be handy under the hands. Hands on hips as you guide forward, pause halfway. And hands can come down to the floor. So fingertips or maybe your hands, create that length in your spine too. So bring them further away. And here, you might kind of sway the hips a little bit. So again, encouraging that movement. You can rock forward and back. Or stay with stillness. Okay, so lift up halfway again, using that bolster maybe. And start to bend your right knee. Okay, so I'm mirroring you, but you're probably facing towards me. So your knees over the ankle, it's like a side lunge. Okay, you're getting stretch on the adductors, the inside thigh. And then come back to the middle, and then bend through the left leg. That's it. Keep the chest elevated for now. And back to the middle. All right, and so we'll just pivot around. So, hands to hips, and then lift yourself back up. All right, so no need to step forward. We'll turn which foot will be forward? Left foot will be forward. Okay. I'm gonna face that way. So yeah, now your left foot's at the front. If you just lift up and pivot. Okay. All right, and lining yourself up for warrior two. So taking the arms wide. All right, settling in. Let's take 3 breaths in warrior two. Find the pose from your feet up. Lift baby from below. And slight little lift of your abdomen muscles. Flip the front palm, reverse. Again, you can use the traction of the wrist, reaching it up. The head can kind of lean into it. 3 breaths. The magic number today. Inhaling back to warrior two when you finish. And lunging the arm forward, extended side angle. Hand could be on hip or up and over. Hand could be holding baby a little bit. Press back into the foot, come back to warrior two for a moment, and then straighten the leg. Turn the toes in again, wide-legged forward fold. This time you might like to interlace the hands as you come into it. So opening the chest again. Hips stay back as you draw the chest forward. Oh, a good back cracker when I do that. And the next breath, you might bring the hands back down under your shoulders or use blocks. And we'll take a little twist. So you'll bring your, I'm trying to think of lefts and rights. Where are you? So let's pick up one hand. So just pick up one hand. We're twisting in one direction. I picked up my left first. And bring it back down. And then switch hands. A little open twist. So you've got length in your spine. So nice and support. Bring the hand back down. And then start to bend the knees. Bring your hands to your hips. And then exhale, press up. Heel toe feet together. It's a safe way to exit poses for your pelvic floor rather than pressing and stepping back. I'm going to go into a couple standing balance poses from here. So you can line yourself at the top of the mat, or if you're near a wall or a chair you could use to help balance. So we'll start with the dancer's pose, okay? Right. Ground through your right foot. Hands can start at your hips. And start to bring your left leg up behind you and catch onto the outer edge of the foot to start. So it may just be a thigh stretch you're doing, which is also great. Maybe you're walking a lot and this is going to be helpful. Or you can flip the fingers and start to come into dancers. So your right hand would come up. And pressing foot in the hand. So not going as your full depth as you always do. Maybe just a gentle lean forward. Press your foot in the hand for 2 more breaths. And exhale, coming back up. foot comes down. We'll windmill, going to the other side. So if your hand was on your hip for that, you can do that still too. So finding that thigh stretch to start. Then it becomes a bit more like a hip flexor stretch. As your foot to hand, you're flipping the grip a bit. Yeah, use that wall if you need. Keep lifting the chest and the gaze. Focus on something still, not me. Start to lift back up, use your toes to press in. And then shake it out a bit. And we'll come into one of my favorite postures, tree pose, Vrikshasana. All right, so we'll ground through the right foot. All right, start to bring your left heel out to the inside. So you might start on your calf. You might even bring it up all the way to your inner thigh. That knee drawing wide. Okay, hands could be on hips or holding on to baby as you stabilize. So anywhere but the knee is ideal, so we're not loading the knee. Hands can come to prayer. Or you might branch your tree, you know, take up space. Ooh, find your balance. 3 more breaths in tree. So good for ankle stabilizing, these balance poses. Unwavering when things come your way. Ooh. Slowly taking the foot back down. I came out a bit early. All right, shake the feet out a bit, prance, and then other leg. So grounding through your left foot. You can do a kickstand, all right, or your shin or calf, and then up. So you're co-contracting the foot and legs, squeezing together to help you grow tall. Find your expression. Hang out for about 3 breaths. Lift baby from below. Slowly guide the foot back down. Shake it out a bit. Okay. So we're setting up for Malasana Yogi Squat. Especially in your last month of pregnancy, maybe do seek support of a bolster. Alternatively, you can hold on to your partner in this pose while you're laboring, or a bar or something. My bed happens to be like the perfect height to hold on to. I'm going to use blocks to sit on. So your toes are pointing out, knees in line with toes, bending knees. You can use your hands to come down. All right. Palms can be together. Usually when you've got more room, your elbows can press the knees wide, but that's compressing my belly now, so I'll stay more upright and just traction my arms against the knees. Okay. Maybe just a little rock forward and back, and then find that length out of kind of head, chest lifting. 2 more breaths. Right. Start to bring the hands down. And heel toe feet closer together. Use your blocks to come back up, or you stand right up. Okay, awesome. So we'll come through to the floor. Finish with our standing poses. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift. And then stepping back. Coming to all fours. We're coming to the ground now to work on our glutes a little bit. Some kind of Pilates moves. All right. So we'll start by laying, let's stay on your left side. Okay, I'll face you. All right. So you can just lean the arm out, have one hand in front of your chest or on your hip. Okay. I've got my heels in line with my bum, so just have a look there. All right. And find that the hips are stacked. So see that little movement there, just lengthening here through the side waist a bit. Okay, and your feet, heels stay glued together, toes are together. And we'll do these little clams. So let the right leg rise, and you might even take your hand to your right bum cheek and feel that action happening. So lower, going nice and slow. We'll go up to 8 for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now we will float the heel and knee in line. Okay, keep everything in line. That hand can be there for stabilization, bring your chest or on your hip still. So 1, not too high. 2, just as long as you can control. 3, 4, 5, lower. 6, keep breathing. 7, and 8. Okay, so to go to the other side, you might roll to your back and then straight over. I'm going to press up from my side and just swing my legs around so I can still face you. So set up on your other side. We'll do just 2 different sets. So line the heels up with your butt again. All right, little stack of the hips. So I have a little space beneath. It helps to know I'm aligned. We'll start with the clams. We'll do the open clamps. So 1, the feet are glued together. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Then there's the open one, so lifting the heel in line with the knee. So lower and then lift. 1, 2, 3. I feel it more on this side. 4. This must be my weak side. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Roll that back down. You can press yourself back up. We'll come through down dog briefly or your table. Setting up for half pigeon with our right leg. Okay, so you might keep your bolster nearby if you need it. Right leg can lift, you can bend the knee, roll hip open. And this will help stretch out what we just worked on. So with half pigeon, in pregnancy, you can also take seated figure 4 instead. I'll show you that too. It's going to be quite a big stretch in the front line. All right, you can use a block under your right hip. I find for me, I'm okay as long as I've got something to rest my forearm zone and kind of nestle my belly in. All right, I'm gonna take a good number of breaths here, opening the right hip. Seated figure 4 looks a bit like this, so the right ankle on top, hands behind you, and you're still getting that same stretch. Checking the toes are flexed back for seated figure 4. From here, just 3 more breaths. See where you can surrender parts of your body that might be tense and send your breath to those areas. Finishing your last breath, we'll come back for down dog. Or if you're seated, just shake the legs out. So you can pedal the feet a bit. Left leg can come up and then bring it forward. Drop the knee as you guide it forward. Lengthen the back leg. Take a moment to find your positioning. So if you're going on the other side, left ankle on top of the right knee if you're seated. Make space for your belly. All right. It seems to be just working for me. And here you might just let the head relax. Breathing into that outer hip, lower back. Breathing into baby. Let's take 3 more breaths. You can come back up through your down dog one last time, or you can just simply stretch the leg out behind you on the table. I like to be even, so I'll have to go back to down dog. And then bring your knees down. Come to a wide-legged forward fold, Upavishta Konasana, a straddle. Get the feet about 90 degrees or wider. All right, kind of rock back and forth. Maybe turn your chest side to side a couple times, just a healthy position. All right, and we'll come into a forward fold towards the middle. Again, this is probably where I'll go. I want to keep the spine pretty long, all right, as my belly has definitely compromised some of my space, but that's all good. My baby's growing, it's beautiful. I'm just thinking about releasing on the inside line of the legs. Maybe flutter the feet a couple times and then allow them to soften. And my belly touches if I go much further, so I stay a bit more upright. So it takes a bit of trial and error to find what works. And we'll slowly start to lift ourselves back up. Bringing the feet together this time, butterfly. Move a little bit closer, okay? So we'll come into a bit of a traction and a little twist. Okay, so bring your left hand to the inside of your thigh. Okay, so anywhere between the knee, and kind of walk it up and down a bit to help kind of massage. So I'm kind of digging the heel of my hand, my finger towards my fingers, and kind of softening the adductors. And then once you find a good spot there, press the hand into that thigh, lean away from it. You might rotate a little bit, as long as that's okay for you. Check your breathing into your belly still. We'll come back up to the middle and then work it through the other side. So little presses, walks down. And then find a nice comfy spot, or not comfy, I don't know, whatever works for you. Lean away, and then rotate away. Back through the middle for a forward fold. Okay, you can keep the hands connected to your feet. All right, maybe massage the feet a little bit, or get your birth partner or whoever to help massage. And into your fold, we'll just take 3 breaths. Let the head hang that last breath. We'll come back up. We'll set up for Shavasana, final resting pose. All right, so either side lying or supported Baddha Konasana, butterfly. I'll show you what butterfly looks like over your bolster. So get some blocks, or maybe you have a little stool that perfectly is the height for that. And you set it up like so. If you have another pillow, it could be nice. If you don't want to be right against that gap, you want to just come away a bit, feet together, knees wide. Or you take side lying on your left side. I'll show you that finally once I set this up. So keep your hands there as you start to recline over. You can have a pillow under your head too, if that's more comfortable. Your hands could be out to the side or connecting to baby. Stay here, or you can take the sideline variation. We'll just be here about 3 minutes. Okay, taking yourself to your side. If that's the position you prefer, and I'll just demonstrate that. Use a pillow under your head to set up. Just scanning through the body, seeing what you can soften. Okay, so sideline, I prop it up just like you would in bed if you're propping up your hip. All right. Or you might even take the bolster right in between your legs, like that, and line your shins up. Take a moment just to arrive. Maybe a big breath in, and sigh that breath out. You can always come back to your B breath here, a more softer version. Okay, it can be soothing. Maybe doing about like 5 rounds before you settle in. So it would be very gentle. You're just breathing in and humming it out. It's a great breath to do before bed. So you may do up to 5 rounds of that B breath. Fully arriving in your Shavasana, letting go, knowing this is important, you being here. And I want to share something I heard in a podcast. You might even place your hands on baby. It was this Australian woman, Maha Al Musa. She's a very inspiring woman. I might tag her name in there, but she said there's only 3 things you need for birth. It's your body first. Second is your baby, and third is your inner knowing, or your intuition. Okay, the mind isn't in there. So coming into those 3 things, your body, baby, and your inner knowing. This is all you need. And we'll start to come out of this state. Maybe just take a big breath in. You can sigh out anything you discover that you don't want to take with you. And roll the circles and wrists. If you're on a bolster on your back, you'll roll over to your left side before you press up. So use your hands to help you up, not engaging your core in any way, something to practice. Stack yourself back up into Sukhasana, and then bring the palms together in front of your heart. We'll seal the practice with 1 Om. Take a breath in. Let the breath go first. Inhale. Take a thumbs up to our third eye, our center of intuition. Everything you need is within you, Mama. Namaste. Thank you.